Thank you so much for your interview. It's my honor and pleasure to have this interview. My name is Chung-Liang Chien, and actually I'm a professor at the National Taiwan University College of Medicine. I teach the medical students for more than 20 years, and I really enjoy it. And also I have some experience in the government, so I was the Deputy Minister of the Science and Technology in a couple of years ago, so I learned a lot of the regulatory issues from the government as well. And after that, I came to IBMI as a CEO, so I try to help this organization. Actually, this organization is non-profit NGO. So we try to help our industry, bio-industry, as well as the biomedicine, like hospital, medical centers, to link to the government. So this is one of the mission of the IBMI. And besides that, since 4 years ago, I came to the IBMI. We try to make a bridge for the international collaboration. So I try to help IBMI to promote their very special program we call Taiwan Healthcare Plus internationally. So I went many countries for the IBMI to promote this program and try to let our foreign partner, foreign friends to know our good in the healthcare, especially for the healthcare business. That's part of my job now also. Thank you. Actually, before you give me the question, I prepared some answers. So, sorry, I have to read the answer first, and then I will give you more details.
No problem, 100%.
Well, for Taiwan, actually, this is the one of the challenge for Taiwan, especially after COVID-19. So Taiwan could help the total solution such as diagnostic, infectious control, and clinical guideline for the small hospitals, and the data-driven medical care development, especially after COVID-19. And as technology takes a critical role more than ever after COVID-19, we see opportunity in diagnosis, epidemic prevention, patient care, and remote healthcare. Taiwan has been in a global competition of diagnostics, stand a chance to win in emerging markets with surging demands of rapid test kits following border reopened. Hopefully, we will reopen soon. And now a lot of biotech companies in Taiwan, they try to focus on the market needs for the remote healthcare. I just mentioned remote healthcare, including wearable sensors, vital sign monitors, by way of the 5G communication, and so on. So our company, from the ICT company field, they know their future business. They have to combine with healthcare business for the futures. That's part of my answer. Okay, for our ICT company, I just give one of the example who is the PC maker, the BenQ. I just mentioned, I tell you the story. BenQ previously, they sell the desktop or the laptop, all in a monitor, PC monitors only. But now they know the healthcare business is really important. So they jump into the healthcare business. They have the special products like a surgical monitor, surgical LED light. That's for the operation room. However, you know, this kind of product, just like a laptop, like a PC, the profit is still pretty limited. So they try to integrate some of the startup company, like they know the softwares, so they can help the integration, both hardware and software, and provide a kind of total solution for the small operation room for the surgeons. So this is one of the very good example that the ICT company, they could provide a total solution for the healthcare. And they could sell the total solution, not just the surgical light or LED monitor, whatever they previous made. They could integrate the software as well as some of the after-service package. So we call that kind of total solution for the small operation room. And besides that, they try to integrate with the hospital information system. Now, as you may know, the smart hospital, for the superintendent, the director, or the superior officers of the hospital, they would like to know what the surgeon, what they have done in the operation room. So they could provide a solution for the smart hospital also. So they can link all the data, including the surgical procedure, surgical information, to the hospital information system. We call hospital information system anyway. So this is really important for the hospital management. So this is one of the examples that the ICT company, like the PC makers, they now jump into the healthcare business and try to help the hospital run it more efficiently and run it more precisely. Like we call now is very hot topics, we call precision medicine. We will have to do everything precision, carefully, and exactly to the point. So that's what they try to do, and we could see the futures. Because this kind of interdisciplinary association help to each other. That's one of the strongest part of the Taiwan is ICT, and the other part is the medical care. So if both could help each other, I think that's our future for Taiwan. Thank you. I think one of the answer I will say that our people, Taiwanese people, we have the talent, very smart people. And our university provide very good education, very good training, especially in the medical field and the ICT field, like EE, electrical engineering, two major strongest part in the university. So a couple years ago, those two group people, they seldom talk to each other. But now, our universities try to integrate them together, try to ask them to help each other. So now we have some startup company from the university. Actually, that team, including the medical doctors, as well as the mechanical engineering, and also some business consultant. That's very important for the startup team also. So this kind of culture, this kind of environment has been created within the university. So this is the good strength, one of the good way to go for future market, I mean international market, because we have both pretty strong group person, like a medical field and the electric engineering fields. And we just try to bridge them together. So my conclusion for this answer, we have talent people in Taiwan. As you may know, our company in Taiwan in the ICT field, they try to develop their new technology. They have their domain knowledge pretty well. And even they have some IP protection strategy for their new product for future. However, once they want to jump into the healthcare business, they have to have these kind of interdisciplinary talents, especially from the medical field. So when they want to jump into this healthcare business, the first step, they have to get the talent people from the medical field to know what's the unmet medical needs first, to solve the problem for the medical doctor first, not for the patient, for medical doctor first. So once they got the solution, they got the answer to help the medical doctor, then they will find the future business in the healthcare. That's what part of my answer. But you mentioned about the startup company. I think I just mentioned within the university, we encourage the medical doctors to work together with, especially some medical doctors. They don't want to be a doctor anymore. They want to be a business person. So we try to encourage them work together with our strongest part, ICT partner, try to help the ICT company get into the medical care or the healthcare business, this field. So I think part of the answer, if the startup company would run smoothly in the healthcare, they have to have some experts from the medical field, as well as the last, not the least, the business consultants. That's also very important, because we know a lot of professors or the medical doctors, they did a very good job for the research, for the clinical service. However, they don't know the business at all. So if they would run the startup smoothly or even internationally, they have to have this kind of experts from the business sectors. They try to ask the help from them. Then this kind of startup company will have the future market, will have the, the broader future, especially internationally. Actually, I have to say that I'm not a government employee anymore, but I learned from that because I keep tracing what they have done. Well, actually, Taiwan government did a pretty good job to promote our biotech industry, especially from the IBMI point of view. We try to help this kind of set up the regulation for the startup company. We set up the new guideline for the pharmaceutical. So we try to work together with FDA, Taiwan FDA, as well as CDE, the Center of the Drug Evaluation, one of the organizations try to help the biotech company or pharmaceuticals company. So I think from the government point of view, they have a lot of incentives for the biotech, especially for the startup. However, a lot of startup teams, they didn't know the resource from the government. So one of the role of the IBMI, we try to provide this kind of information for the startups. Tell them what's the incentive that the government provided. What's the linkage? If you need it, we could provide it for the government. Or if you need some kind of training outside the campus, we also provide it. So from the IBMI point of view, we try to help our startup a lot. And actually, Taiwan government also appreciate IBMI, what we have done. So we got a lot of support from the government, not financially, but we really appreciate that. The government is still pretty supportive for IBMI. First of all, I would like to say that the cultural barrier, Chinese culture is really unique in the world. So if you would like to run the business in a Chinese society, Taiwan is the good spot to test. So if you could get some friends from Taiwanese, they will help you to run the business all the Chinese society, not only China, including Southeast Asia, not the business. So I think if the startup company would like to know more about Taiwan's strengths or what I just mentioned, some incentive, please just try to visit our websites, Taiwan Healthcare Plus. Taiwan Healthcare Plus. Please Google that. And you could get a lot of information from that. That's the platform we provide by our IBMI. And actually that platform is really good for the startup. Not only for the ICT company, if you want to run the clinical trial, you could find a good partner from the hospital, from the medical center, through our platforms. That's very important for the biotech or the healthcare business. If you would like to promote one of the medical devices, I just give one example. You want to try to promote your innovative medical device. You should try to run the clinical trial within Taiwan. And then you get a successful this kind of path. That's the good startup. You could run it because in Taiwan, the clinical trial is trustable. Not only in Taiwan, also in China. People trust our clinical doctors. So if your medical device could get a very good clinical trial in Taiwan, then you will have the future market for the Chinese society. I just mentioned about that. That's what Taiwan's strength, one of the part. Taiwan is one of the point to jump over the world. Not only for Chinese society. If your product is a medical needs, not only for Chinese, I think once you got a very good result from Taiwan, you will have the good future for the international markets.